This is just a quick follow-up to the video I uploaded yesterday called Psychopaths in Boxing. Now, first of all, I want to give a shout out to everyone that watched the video. It was very popular. A lot of people liked it. So big up everyone for watching it and commenting and liking and all that. I appreciate it. But as I say, this is a follow-up video because I just want to address some of the things people were saying in the comment section. And really, it's my fault because I didn't really give enough information in terms of the definitions of psychopathology and what have you. There were a lot of people saying a lot of wild stuff in the comment section, bringing up all types of names, accusing certain people in boxing of being psychopaths who are most certainly not psychopaths. If you've studied psychopathology in any kind of depth, you will know, for example, let me just give you some of the names people were mentioning. You will know that James Toney is most certainly not a psychopath. It's what somebody tried to say, that James Toney's a psychopath. James Toney may be ignorant, may be an idiot, may be a loudmouth. A psychopath is certainly not one of the things that James Toney is. No way. He does not display typical psychopathic characteristics. Now, it was clear to see that a lot of people, or at least some of the people who are commenting about psychopathology and psychopathy in the comment section, they had just done a Google search and looked for the dictionary definition of psychopath. You cannot even come close to getting a handle on what psychopathy is by looking in a dictionary, people. So, all right. Psychopathy is the study of psychopathy is an entire genre within psychology. You're not going to understand the definitions of it by looking at a dictionary or doing a quick Google search. No, get a few books, read a few books on the subject first before you start saying this person's a psychopath, that person's a psychopath. Read a few books on it first. It's a lot deeper than a dictionary definition. And as I explained in the previous video, psychology is not an exact science, and there are widely different views on multiple subjects within psychology, and that includes psychopathy. Many different psychologists disagree on this point and that point about psychopathy and the definitions of psychopathy. That's why I say read a few books on psychopathy first and understand where these psychologists are differing about the definition of psychopathy and what have you. Do that first, okay? There are some people who may have some type of knowledge of psychology or have studied psychology, but haven't studied psychopathy specifically. I urge even those people, get some books on psychopathy and study that particular, genre within psychology, if you like. Do that first and then get back to me and start saying, okay, let's debate which of these people really is a psychopath. James Toney, definitely not a psychopath. Somebody mentioned Adonis Stevenson being a psychopath. Say he's definitely one. Being convicted of pimping offenses when he was 23 years old. So we're talking about what, 16, 17 years ago? That does not automatically qualify somebody as a psychopath. There are pimps out there who definitely are psychopaths. But as I say, having one conviction, for pimping when he was a young man does not, definitely not automatically qualify you as a psychopath. I don't know Adonis Stevenson well enough, his personality well enough to be able to say whether this guy really is a psychopath, but neither do you. There hasn't been anything that he's shown in the public eye which would indicate that he is a psychopath. So let's not start going on a witch hunt. You really need to know quite a lot about somebody to make the assessment about whether this person is a psychopath. The reason I can say, in my personal opinion, that Don King is absolutely a psychopath is because I've been following the sport of boxing for several decades, and the career of Don King, of his run-ins with different fighters and different legal situations are extremely well documented. His behavior is out there for all to see. And he is one of the few psychopaths in boxing who's actually in front of the camera. So he is a good case study because there's lots of information about him. That's why I could come out and say, yeah, he's a psychopath. As for all these other people, Whoa, 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 whoa. People are seriously jumping the gun. Some people even saying Eddie Hearn's a psychopath. Eddie Hearn is definitely not a psychopath. Now, again, if you have studied psychopathology specifically, you've read some books on the subject, you've got a handle on it, and you understand the kind of consensus opinion. Again, there is variations in terms of what different psychologists define as psychopathy. But once you read a few books and got a consensus view on what exactly it is, then you will know that the things I'm saying are actually accurate in terms of psychopaths being very devious, manipulative, very false. And most psychopaths, again, a lot of people are getting confused between psychopathy and psychosis, right? There are certain people out there who are psychotic. There's a difference between a psychotic and a psychopath. Different. Don't get them confused. A psychotic could be someone that runs up in the church with a samurai sword, stabbing people. That would most likely be a psychotic. Yeah, somebody with schizophrenia or something like that. That's psychotic. A psychopath, no. A psychopath normally, and again, there are psychopaths that go out stabbing people and shooting people. There are psychopaths like that. But the majority of psychopaths are not excessively violent, or in many cases, not violent at all. That's why you've got, according to UK medical statistics, as high as 1 in 25, 4% of the population displaying psychopathic traits and tendencies. The majority of them just do normal jobs. They're not out stabbing nobody, but they display a certain set of behaviors and characteristics which never leave them. This is not a phase they're going through in their life or anything like that. It sticks with them for the entirety of their lives, these behaviors. And they may manifest themselves in different ways depending on the circumstances they're in, but they'll always display this predatory, remorseless, guilt-free behavior. This calculating, devious, parasitic nature. That is generally what defines a psychopath. And if you want to look at a movie, for example, or let's just say, first of all, let me give you an example of a violent psychopath, a serial killer. If you want to go look on YouTube, type in the name Richard Ramirez. Okay, he was a famous serial killer in the United States. Go look at Richard Ramirez interviews. That is a psychopath. The way Richard Ramirez is behaving, his demeanor, everything about the guy, he is a pure psychopath. And if you want to look at a movie, for example, you want to be entertained as well as learn a little something, go watch the movie Night Stalker. That is an almost perfect portrayal of how psychopaths behave, of how manipulative they are and devious and how fake they are. Psychopaths will tell you whatever they need to tell you to get your trust and confidence. And they're doing it because they want to exploit you in some way. This is the psychopathic mindset. This is why so many of them are in business and in sales and in media and stuff like that. And Night Stalker is the perfect depiction in terms of movies of what a psychopath is. And it shows you in that movie why and how psychopaths are able to succeed in business. It shows you exactly why. And just to close out the video, there were some people that left comments. There was one guy who left a comment saying, "I'm the worst of them all." He was talking about being a psychopath. He said, "I'm the worst psychopath of them all." A psychopath wouldn't leave a comment like that. In most cases, that just sounds like somebody who's looking for attention. That don't sound like a psychopath or somebody who's just having a joke. I don't know for sure. I don't know the guy, but no. There was somebody else in the comment section who said, so now anybody who's driven and motivated and ruthless is going to be labeled, basically. Now that comment right there, I'm not saying that guy's a psychopath, but that's the kind of comment that a psychopath would leave on a video like that. Psychopaths are always making excuses for their behavior. They're always trying to justify their ruthlessness and their lack of empathy or lack of guilt or lack of remorse. They're always trying to justify it to other people. That is more like the kind of comment a psychopath would leave. So again, I'm not accusing that guy of being a psychopath at all. Maybe he's just trying to play devil's advocate and be intellectual. But as I say, a lot of misconceptions about what psychopathy is. Read some books on the subject, please. Even if you do have a background in psychology, please read some books on psychopathy specifically. And all these people you're talking about, they're not psychopaths. You need to know way more about them. That's why I'm reluctant to call somebody like David Hay, Mayweather, all these people psychopath. I don't know enough about them on a personal level. You know, Don King, there's a hell of a lot of his life out there. It's much easier to make an assessment of somebody like that. And don't start, having a witch hunt in your personal life. This person's a psychopath. That person's a psychopath. If you come across a psychopath, especially if you've read some books on the subject and studied it, it will be immediately apparent, in a lot of cases. You won't have to know them for very long before you start seeing, if you know what you're looking for, before you start seeing the psychopathic traits. And again, people go through phases in their lives. You might have a boss that's an idiot, an arsehole who treats you horrible. It don't mean he's a psychopath. Maybe he's just an idiot. Maybe he's just not a nice guy. It doesn't mean he's a psychopath. Doesn't mean he has no empathy at all. Doesn't mean he has this lifelong condition, mental condition, where he just cannot have any feeling for people. And he's almost like a robot, operating like a robot. And this is why we live in a psychopathic system. In politics, in business, it's totally psychopathic because it's created by psychopaths to suit themselves. They've created a system where only the psychopaths or people who are willing to take on psychopathic behavior can actually get to the very top. And they try and convince you that this type of behavior is a good thing. They put profit, for example, before morals, before morality. And that is one of the worst things that any person could ever do. Screwing people over and ruining their lives and making people jobless and homeless and all this type of stuff just so you can make a profit. That is pure psychopathy. That's the kind of mentality that had people like my ancestors as slaves. 20 million being brought from Africa. That's the kind of mentality that is. The ends justify the means. Well, yeah, we're killing all these people, but it makes money. So, it's okay. That's the kind of mentality that justified colonialism. Oh, yeah, but look at all the infrastructure we built in these countries. Yeah, we tortured and killed millions of people in the process, but, oh, well, we built all this stuff. We made loads of money out of it, so it's justified. No, it's not. How the hell can you justify all that? I'm sure ISIS are over there. And in fact, I know they are over there in Syria, creating infrastructure, setting up schools, hospitals, and all that kind of stuff. Does that justify what they're doing? And believe you me, ISIS are choir boys compared to the people who established the United States, of America in the early days, who were bringing over all the slaves and killing people and all that type of stuff. The colonialists who are going into Africa and slaughtering millions of people. Go look at King Leopold in the early part of the 20th century of Belgium, what he was doing in the Congo. You're telling me that because he built some infrastructure in the Congo that killing all those people and slaughtering and torturing all those people was justified? That is a psychopathic mentality. Oh, the ends justify the means. Killing all these people is fine because we're building infrastructure. Totally ridiculous. What if me and some boys from Brixton came to your house and we ransacked your house, killed you and your wife, and then went back to Brixton and built an adventure playground for the kids with the money that we took and whatever from your house and the possessions? Would that justify the means because we built some infrastructure after killing you and your wife and your family? Hell no. You have to put morality before profit, surely. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent in a totally different direction here. But my point is, that's what psychopaths will do. They'll try and justify the means by selling you the ends. Oh, this is what we get from it, so it's justified. No, it's not. Yeah, so again, Night Stalker is a movie I recommend. Go have a look at Richard Ramirez. Read some books on psychopathology. Yeah, on psychopathy. and then get back to me. Let's not start going on a witch hunt and accusing everybody in boxing of being a psychopath. Yeah, when you really don't know what psychopathy is. She's way deeper than the dictionary definition you just Googled. So, yeah, anyway, people, it's your boy Hatman, I'm out.